messaging. We're going to take all that beautiful stuff that we learned this morning and we're going to turn it into something tangible. And once we know the experience we want to create, we also need to know how to communicate it clearly and compellingly. And so our final speaker is the indomitable Jill Pavlov with her session called Content That Sizzles. Jill Pavlov is a brand messaging coach, copywriter, and comedian who blends improv, storytelling, and brand strategy to help women clarify their message, amplify their presence, and build personal brands that turn heads online and off. With a BA in theater and a career that began interviewing A-list stars on Philadelphia's top radio show, Jill knows what it takes to command a mic and captivate an audience. I think you guys are really going to love those. She's going to help us think about how to craft messaging that truly connects with our audience and makes messaging that feels authentic, memorable, and aligned with the value we bring. Please welcome Jill Pavlov.
Or you start to ramble, or you just start to throw every single thing about your business out there because hopefully something will stick. Has anyone ever done that when they've tried to film content for themselves? All of a sudden you go out to the camera like, I have no idea what to do. And you avoid it, and you sit there with drafts in your phone because you think they're not good enough, and then, oh my God, the worst thing that you can do is that then you open your phone to your own social media and you start scrolling and you start seeing all of the other coaches and service providers and products out there who are actually putting out content, and you're thinking, oh my God, I can never put out content that's as good as them, but why should I put out content? And you have spun yourself and made something so complicated that I am going to make so much easier for you today. Who here feels like they kind of signed up to be a content creator without ever really wanting to do social media? Yeah, I know you got into your business to help people with their finances, or to cure diseases, or to do beautiful hairstyles on people. I have a med spa client, and all they want to do is put needles in people's faces. They hate getting on camera, they hate it, and I get it, because you guys didn't sign up to be full-time content creators. But as a business, in this day and age, it's a must. It's not a nice to have anymore. It is something that you have to do. So if anyone was hoping that I would come up here and say, okay, listen, you guys don't really have to do content, that's how it sizzles. Sorry, I'm going to tell you that you absolutely have to be doing content. And Kate knows I have a bone to pick with her because Kate said, oh, you don't need social media. And I said, what? And I just want to clarify, because I talked to Kate about this. Specifically she was saying that you cannot sell just from social media. And I'm going to absolutely agree with that. You cannot put your content out there and think, okay, that's it, I do my job, this is going to sell itself. Absolutely not. Just give me a thumbs up, so I know I did good. But it is a tool that you need in order to get that credibility. We've talked so much about know, like, and trust. And if you're not getting up in rooms like these, if you're not able to go out, posting on your social media is such a good way to get that know, like, and trust. I think it was Colleen who was just talking about top of mind in the panel. That's how you stay top of mind. I'm going to get into that a little later, but I just want to talk about why content is hard, why you might be feeling that this is hard. First off, I want to validate you in the fact that this is not natural. It is not natural to sit there and give a whole monologue to your phone. So if you're wondering why this is difficult, it's because it's not meant to be easy. You're not meant to give a soliloquy into your phone, okay? So that's really hard. We're dealing with things that are unnatural, that we're not supposed to be able to do. And also, it's hard because you don't have a clear message. Maybe you know what you do, but you're having trouble communicating the value to the people who need you most. And that is when your content really connects, is when you can clearly convey why people can no longer function without you. And the last reason that content is feeling really super hard right now is because you're not trusting your voice. You're not having the confidence. You're getting caught up in what other people are posting, or you're getting caught up in the, oh my god, this is gonna look cringe, or oh my gosh, should I put this on social media? Is my physician gonna see it? Who's gonna see it? You're getting really caught up in not trusting your own voice and not trusting your own brilliance. And that's what I'm gonna help you with today. Before I get into anything a little deeper, I just wanted to further introduce myself. I am Jill Pavlov, and I started my career right out of college in entertainment reporting at Q102 in Philadelphia, since we're up north. I don't know if anyone, any Philly people at Q102? Yes, I was part of the Q crew, and I had the privilege of interviewing some pretty top celebrities. And one of the things that I learned is that the celebrities who really sounded good and gave the best interviews were the ones who were really authentic and not putting on a show. Here's where I'm going to blast Gwen Stefani a little bit, okay? I love Gwen Stefani, and I got to interview her back in like 2007 or something. And as wonderful as an artist as she is, she's one of those people who comes with very scripted, long, drawn-out answers to the questions. And, you know, I always felt like I connected with her through her music. And then actually sitting there listening to her talk was like, okay, thanks. So you want to make sure that like your message is clear, and you want to make sure that like you are being authentically you. Again, it's not about having a script. That's why I call my sessions unscripted leadership and unscripted confidence, because you aren't ever going to have a script. You need to be like in that moment of authenticity and presence and confidence. So after my entertainment reporting and I learned all of that, I also was involved in improv and comedy. Who gets a little nervous when I say the word improv? Awesome, great, I love that. One of the things that I love hearing is that I make people comfortable with the uncomfortable. One of my favorite compliments I've ever gotten. And improv taught me so much about business that I didn't even realize I was learning about business. And it was a couple years ago that I was in a local women's networking group. I live down in South Florida now. And they knew of my comedic background, and they said, hey, can you do an improv workshop for our group of female founders? Sure. And as I was putting it together and putting together exercises that I had done throughout my life as an actor, as an actress, because I started in theater, I realized that there was so much there that is beneficial to women in business when it comes to pitching yourself and talking to people at networking events and getting out of your comfort zone. Entrepreneurship, owning a business, that is like the epitome of getting out of your comfort zone. That is the epitome of taking a risk. So everyone in this room, you already took one of the biggest risks possible. Improv should be easy, right? No, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm going to make anyone like bark like a dog or anything today. We're going to do some very low stakes improv exercises that are just going to help you get out of your head and into your confidence. But before we start that, I want to again emphasize how important your social media is, because being visible is one of your biggest assets. The people who are getting booked, the people who are getting sales, are the people that are putting themselves out there. And it's so frustrating to sit behind the wall of a phone or the screen of a phone and to think of how much better you are than some of those people, right? Have you ever looked at someone like a coach or like whoever it is, whoever your competitor is, and you're like, I'm so much better than them. Why are they getting the business? The people who are getting the business are the people who are putting themselves out there. Why? Just like Colin said, top of mind. Like, think about it. If I'm hungry and I'm scrolling through my Instagram, and maybe I have no idea what maybe I'm running to the arches, right? So like when you can catch people at these moments of need because you're just putting yourself out there, that's where visibility becomes so important. And viral isn't the point. I want to make that very clear. I don't teach my clients how to go viral. I don't teach them how to, it's not about the vanity metrics. It's great to get likes and views and comments. Like, it's great to get that stuff. It's a dopamine rush. It makes you look like you're really popular. But at the end of the day, likes and views are not what are paying your bills. Likes and views are not what are filling up, unless you are an influencer and you are monetizing your account, which is a completely different conversation. But if you are running an account to try to get business, it is the conversions that you are looking for. It is the connection and the conversion. It has nothing to do with the vanity metrics. They're nice to have, but they're not the need to have in the way that you need that authentic connection and presence online. So hopefully that kind of relieves some fear around social media of like, okay, it's not about, if you get one like, who cares? Think about it. Tell me about how would you fill out a post that got no likes, but got you 2 sales? Would you say that was a successful post? Because I absolutely would. I mean, I'll tell you, my very first business coach that I hired for my business, to help me with my business, I was circling in her world for about a year before I hired her. And that's someone who might look at their vanity metrics and think, man, I'm not getting any likes, people don't like my content. I just wasn't ready for her yet. And that's how, and a lot of you are service-based people, so your people might just not be ready for you yet, but when you give them a world to live in and swim around in and learn about you and just keep learning more and more about why they should know, like, and trust you, it makes the decision so much easier when it comes time to make that decision. When they are ready, you're already there for them, and you have to do so much less work to make that sale. So don't worry about going viral. Worry about connecting. So here's the thing. If we don't like doing social media, because who here doesn't like doing it? Be honest. Right. It used to be so fun. We used to just take pictures of our food and our outfit of the day, and now it's gotten like really kind of icky out there with AI bots writing everything, and it just, you don't even know what's real anymore. You go online and you're like, did I really just watch a cat jump out of a cake, or was that AI? It's become like the wild, wild west a little bit, which is why the human element of social media has become queen. Truly. Connecting with your audience, being authentic, speaking to what they need, that is the key of social media. It's not having the perfect lighting or getting the expensive video editor. It's saying the words, having the messaging that is going to hit your target audience right here, where they know that they need you. So, that being said, really what we have to do is bring out the real you, which should be easy, right? We just gotta bring out your confidence. Super easy. All right. Before we jump into some improv, I just want to give you 3 quick content tips that I think are also going to relieve you. The first one is that when you are thinking, actually let me just say the tip first. The first one is that your sales calls are your content. So many times we go to record content or write content and we have no idea what to talk about. We just go blank. Even though you have all the knowledge in the world, that blankness hits you. One of the things that I do that is most successful is when I get on sales calls or even calls with clients, I record them. I record and transcribe all of my calls because there's so much meat in there. I literally have people on the other end of the call telling me what they're struggling with. Isn't that like gold for a service provider to have all this data and all this information of people telling you what they're struggling with so that you can say, yes, that's what I fix. And then you can help promote that to other people. So when you're taking actual scenarios that have happened to your clients or to your prospective clients and discussing them on social media and talking about how you can help, you're hitting something that has happened to someone. You're not just like guessing that maybe they're struggling with this or hoping that you can help them with this. you're saying, this is something that I did for someone else, and this is something that I can do for you too. That plays into the trust of know, like, and trust so much, because it's not fun to part with our money. Like, I didn't like giving my money to my sales coach a few years ago when I did that, but I sure did like the results that I got, and I did it because I knew, liked, and trust her. I trusted that that money that I invested was going to come back because I believed her. I had been in her world for a while and had been loving her content and seeing how she helped other people. You have to be showing how you're helping other people if you want other people to believe that you can help them too. The other tip, and this is going to put some relief, and I kind of touched on it already, is that it's not necessarily about being the most professional on social media. You know, if you're doing a commercial or filming a professional video for your website, yes, you want to hire someone, you want something that looks good and it has professional lighting. But when we're talking about recording our stories or recording our reels, girl, I could be in your car if it has the right message, right? Like, you could be driving. No, we're not going to advocate driving and filming. You could be parked and filming. You could be parked and filming. And that reel could get a client because you said something that really struck a chord in them. And your lighting wasn't even good. Maybe you didn't even have makeup on. We're not looking for the vanity stuff when it comes to social media anymore. We are not trying to be influencers. We're trying to be businesswomen. And I have an example of that. Does anyone remember, this was like a few months ago at this point, the McDonald's executive that ate the Big Mac on camera? Did anyone see that? So a few people see it, so let me describe it to you as best I can. So McDonald's wanted to promote, I think it wasn't a Big Mac, it was a different sandwich. But they had the owner of McDonald's, or the president, sit down, like at a table, facing the camera, like how no one would ever actually sit to eat. And he's like, oh, this burger is so good. And he like takes a bite, and it's like the smallest bite in the world. It was like holding like a gun up to his head to get him to eat this sandwich. And it was, you guys will have to YouTube it afterwards. It's so funny to see the difference because Burger King decided to retaliate. And their executive or president or head king or whatever it is, he got on there, and he's not even looking at the camera, he's in the kitchen, the camera person's over there, and they're just catching him like chow down on a Whopper, loving every second of it. And it just goes to show that McDonald's trying to put out this professional video of like, oh, look at our executive, he's in front of the camera, we have the angles perfectly, and everyone made fun of it. It was a big flop. And then you get the Burger King guy, whose employee just caught him off the cuff on his lunch break, and people are saying this man's a genius. And they did it so much better than McDonald's. So I just want to stress to you again, your videos, they don't have to be perfect and polished and professional. They just have to make sense to the people who are going to hire you. And last quick little tip before we get into some fun, let me just do a time check here. Repetition is your best friend. Repetition is your best friend. Repetition is your best friend.